In this project, you're going to need to use at least 5 different websites that have unique information to pull together an interesting report on live information from the internet that you get to make a lot of choices about, but there are some parameters. For example, you do need to use at least one example of scheduling. You will need to process your outputted reports from the information you pull in a highly detailed and really customized manner that looks good and is confidently written out to a file. You'll have to integrate all this core functionality, but you'll also have to be able to logically and in an organized manner set up the whole scraping process itself. So here's a few tips for you. You're probably going to want to manage the core content in this project through some kind of a runner class, which is going to coordinate all the different parts of your project and how they work together. Some kind of a menu that allows the user to potentially be able to start up the process or maybe even stop it and close it down if they want to. And then a whole bunch of logic that determines the order of things. For example, it wouldn't make much sense to write information to a file that isn't new and updated. So the web scraping that gets queried, this idea that you're going to pull fresh data, the file output should only happen after a scraping has been done. And probably some processing of the string data should be done in between to get it in a format that you want to write it out using. The scheduler might be something that you are able to optionally turn on and off, where there's some functionality for the user to manually decide to get data from different websites. You can just press a button in a menu. And so maybe it's something like you have an option for choose an option. Let's zoom in a little bit here. And maybe option 1 would be pull data from, maybe you want to get some information from a popular stock. Maybe number 2 is pull data from Twitter. Maybe number 3 is you want to pull data from a gaming news website. Whatever sites that you're interested in pulling information from, maybe it's statistics from a sports team. Maybe it's, I don't know, research that gets updated all the time that you kind of want to have the freshest information from. And you provide the user options to pull data right then and there live from the site. But you might also have an option to turn on auto scraping, where choosing this will then automatically set a timer. Maybe the user chooses how long in between. It will automatically populate a subset or all of these different options on a certain schedule so that you can kind of set it and forget it and come back and view the information kind of at your leisure. Providing some functionality that then coordinates how these things work together is going to be a really good idea. Also, inside of our web scraper class, right now, I just did this kind of all in order here from top to bottom, building a single website's scraping. But this isn't going to be good enough for us. I might actually want to have a method or a function here, scrape school website for top news, something like this. And in this, well, I should have all of this content as a part of it, but I'm going to want this to be able to return some information. So it might not be good enough to just be able to print out this information here. I might have to actually gather all this information and add it into some kind of a list. So maybe I have something like my final data equals a list of an empty list of some kind. And instead of printing this all out, I'm going to have my final data append this information to it so that at the end of this all, I can return my final data to the user, whoever asked for it. And I think I have a extra bracket there. Yep. And so now I have the ability from this scraper to actually return this nicely organized text information to me or to whoever's calling this so that it can be included in whatever type of report you end up writing to the file. So this information could be further processed by your string processing functionality and then finally written to a file in that final format so that you have it recorded permanently and start to build your own database of data that's an automated scrape from the web. Make sure you let me know if you have any questions and if you need any more clarifications about these things. But the core skills I want to see, that you're doing some beautiful scraping, making some beautiful soup, that you're processing, you're parsing through properly, that you're able to actually work with the string data and organize it effectively in an organized manner. that you're able to write that data to a file or maybe multiple files in a way that makes logical sense, and that you're also able to have some of this functionality scheduled and happening in an extra automated way for a set it and forget it style application, pulling live data from the web.